TOEFL listening. And this is actually the second part of the test that requires a lot of your focus and attention. So the first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna get yourself acquainted with the listening format. There are gonna be conversations, 2 conversations. There are gonna be 3 lectures, and you're gonna study the question types. 8 question types plus strategies for each of them. The thing with the listening part, you cannot replay the audio. So the real skill that you need here, apart from listening, is note taking. And this is step number 2, note taking strategy. Listen to a conversation and write down only keywords. Structure notes in this way. You have the main idea, you have supporting details. Main idea, supporting details. Abbreviate common words to save time. Step number 3, you're gonna practice active listening. Listen to 1 full TOEFL lecture and take notes. Answer all related questions and check if you've made any mistakes. Repeat with a different lecture, improving your notes. When it comes to the listening part, your notes are everything. And then after all of this, you're gonna do 1 more full practice listening test. You're gonna stick to the time limit. You're gonna understand mistakes and understand why you got something wrong. Also on this day, I want you to allocate 2 to 3 hours learning high frequency words and phrases. The thing is, there are words that show up in TOEFL all the time. Words like indispensable, critical, adjacent, or foster. Learn them. There are tons of word lists online. Just search for TOEFL vocabulary list. You can also practice words in our app. When I encountered certain words that I didn't understand, and when I saw them for like 2 or 3 times, I would write them down and ended up with a list of about 100 words, and I reviewed them a few times before my test. Even just recognizing those words can help you understand passages faster and improve your listening score. We've collected the most common words you'll see on the TOEFL in topics like agriculture, zoology, astronomy, biology. You can access that list as a part of our course. By the way, our students get results. Here's a recent review that we just actually got today in the morning from a student who took a course. This is what he says. This was honestly one of the best learning experiences I've ever had. Honestly, no other institute offers this level of detailed, well-organized content. Thanks to Anastasia, it's our teacher, mentorship and guidance, I scored 107 on my first attempt. I couldn't be more grateful. Congratulations, this score is going to get you into any top university. I think Harvard MBA's required score is 106. The course is more about theory. If you want to focus on practice, if you prefer tests, you can find many in the Lingua TOEFL app. Just go to the vocabulary section and choose the topic you want to work on. You'll have plenty of vocabulary questions, and answering them will ensure you remember these words quickly and effectively. I'll leave all the links in the description below. I suggest focusing on topics such as agriculture, biology, history, astronomy, and psychology first. They are very common on the TOEFL test, so understanding these words will make all sections easier. Noticing the speaker's tone and attitude help you understand their intent. So pay attention to how they feel, whether they sound excited, uncertain, frustrated, or happy. Practice picking up on small hints in their voice that show their attitude. Take notes on main ideas and key details. Since you can't replay the audio, effective note-taking, as I said, is really everything. Focus on writing down key points such as main ideas, supporting details, and any changes in the speaker's opinion. After the lecture or conversation, your notes should help you recall important details quickly. Number 3. Study campus vocabulary. Terms like electives, residence halls, accommodation, freshmen, and so on, they come up very frequently in conversations between students and professors. Knowing these words will help you understand discussions about student life, courses, and university policies. If you're unfamiliar with these terms, it can be hard to follow along and you might miss important details. My key takeaway for the listening part is that you just have to be attentive to every single detail. So I scored 28 out of 30 on listening because there was this moment when I was tired. And you know, for the test, you can't use pen and paper. You have to use like a mini whiteboard with a marker. When I wrote things, first of all, you can't write much because the marker is really thick. But when you erase things from your whiteboard, you get this black residue. And I kind of started worrying that it's gonna damage my white desk. And this is what I started thinking about during the test. Never do that. So I started thinking about that and I missed a sentence. And of course, there was a question about that sentence. Like, why were the bees mentioned by the teacher? And I remember she mentioned them, but I also remember that at that particular second, I was worried about my desk. So, tip for you, just be attentive. Some people would say, yes, it's important to take notes, but for me, like, I kind of use them, but they also help me stay focused, because when you're taking notes, you follow the conversation. So only take notes if you're comfortable with contractions, if you can write those notes fast. We have the whole course where we teach how to do that, how to effectively take notes. For your listening part, I will leave the link to this course below, but it's really important that you're concise and that you listen to every single detail in the test.